Welcome to a new episode of Indian Food and Football and SportsKhabri. And as promised, long time back, we have with us none other than Igor Štimac, the Indian football national team coach. Igor, sir, welcome to our show. I think it's been a long wait, but people in India loves to hear from you, and you are a very fan favorite among all in all places wherever I go, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. You are so famous about people, and people really love you in India. So, thank you for joining in, sir.
I'm so happy to be with you, first of all, and very happy to hear such kind words that people love me in a way that I was very committed in the last 5 years to Indian football and giving my best to help Indian football rise. And it's really nice to hear such words. Thank you so much.
Igor, sir, first question before when we start, we'll discuss about Indian football on a whole. But first thing, what struck my mind when you joined Indian football in 2019, you had a great pedigree as a player. You played in the topmost leagues at that time. And if I remember, I think you were the first person from Croatia to move abroad in West Ham, and you moved to West Ham and you played really well there. And I remember I was very small when Croatia went to the third position in 1999 FIFA World Cup 1988, and you were part of that team. From there, you took over Croatian national team coach after you retired from football, international football. You took up as coach. So, what made you come to India? Because I heard the story that whenever you came for the interview in India, you were so well prepared. How you made this possible? This is something which I thought how it's possible, because Indian football stands. If you see in that respect, it stands nowhere from where you come from, and from there you are getting. And you said all the players' name. Was it true? Means today I can ask you this upfront. Was it
Yeah,
true?
absolutely. It's really true, and that was crucial actually because there were four really serious candidates for the job. So having a great interview with the technical committee members was really important to get the job. Actually, I was not sure I'm going to get it. How you're going to be sure about it? But to make it sure, I prepared myself in the best possible way, investigating everything about Indian football for nearly 2 months, watching as many games as possible from the national team in the last 2 years prior to getting the job, and ISL also. Researching on development programs, football competitions in India, and getting to know the players through the clips and through the games I watched. So I was well prepared for that interview, and that was crucial for me to get the job.
Thank you, coach, for your answer. One first thing when we are discussing this thing, we are in the brink of Asian Cup right now. We are playing. I think we had the toughest group possible this year, because if I remember 2019, our group was much easier, and if you see 2023, our group is much tougher. It consists of Australia, Uzbekistan, and Syria. Three teams ranked above us, and if you see Australia, and you said you gave a very bold statement somewhere. I was reading in an interview also. I heard you said that we can surprise Australia, and that took me when you say something, it has a lot of value. People in India take it very serious, and people ask me, "Coach, really thinks it, or he just wants to motivate his players?" What was the background when you said that we can really surprise Australia?
First, if you don't have faith, if you don't believe in things will happen, then it will not happen. That's for sure. So I strongly believe that never mind the circumstances, short camp, not enough support, and other things, I still believe we can surprise Australia, and that's what my work is based on, in belief in faith. And that mindset I always try to transmit to our players, to group of players which will represent India there. If I succeed there, then we have the chance. The rest of the work is based on the discussions with the players, man management, performance coach is doing his job on the mindset, mental strength of the players, the set piece work also. The players should be in great form because we don't have much of a time. But I have strong belief. It's a simple reason, because never mind that Australian players are playing in England, in Italy, in Scotland, mostly, all of them, apart from one or two which are in Australian league. We always stand a chance. And that's how it is now. Everything depends on the approach, on the self-belief, on self-esteem, on fitness level of the players we're going to have there. Obviously, it's not going to be so great moment for us not having full squad there, because some of the key players are injured and they will be out for the rest of the season. But we still need to keep our faith and belief in what we need to do there to represent the country and to do our best and give our best, because we're going to have so many supporters there backing us up, supporting India, and we need to do everything possible to make them happy. Not only those who will attend the stadiums, but everyone who will be attached to the screen and watch through the broadcast channels now.
So, coach, you said a lovely statement that you the connect always you all of it in your interview. I've seen that you always say about the connect with the people, with the fans, which you have, which I have not seen with other people who were around Indian football for a long time. Because I have been following Indian football for a long time, and there were many national coaches. I don't know them over here, but I know. But somehow the connect was which was missing with the fans from the coach and coach from the fans, which is right now which is there. And I think your this statement will give a lot of hope for many Indian football fans. They will be tuning into their TV sets to watch India play against Australia in January. So, coach, it's a very, very tough group. Everybody knows it. I remember your face when you gave it in Instagram after the draw was done, and you said that.
I was repeating one word: tough, 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 tough.
I remember it. And here you come, and you are not what we are hearing that Anar Ali's absence, top, I think one of the best players in our defense of ours, and we don't have much, as you know, also that because you have said in many ways this we don't have much options sometimes. And Anwar Salih's absence, how do you deal that Anwar Salih's absence in the defense? Because
I mean,
we are playing a very strong teams.
yeah, it's a big blow when you lose players like him, but not only him, because the lack of the options on the forward positions, attacking midfield position and centre back position is being there for decades in Indian football since the foreign player rule was used in a really wrong way, not helping Indian football to rise new players with Indian passport. It was really difficult for the national team and its coaches to do anything well, because if you don't have players competing on a weekly basis and playing the natural positions they are playing in the national team, then it's difficult to expect to have a strong national team. And that's what we've been going through for the last 5 years also. So the things in football should work in a way that the clubs are there to develop the players and produce the players for the national team. So national team is there to use the best possible options, best possible players, and to do well to represent the country. But somehow I feel here it was a reverse way. We were developing players on the striker positions, attacking midfield position and centre back positions, and giving it back to the clubs. So the best clubs in India were signing these players, which we developed through the national team. So these things are somehow there to change, to help Indian football rise more. Obviously now when we lost Ashik, Jigson and Nanbar, we lost huge part of our performance quality, I would say, because losing Ashik, we lost great part of high press intensity which we had with Ashik up front. He's not a great goal scorer, I would say, but his energy, his speed and his unpredictability brings to our team something which is really precious. He's someone who is helping us, especially Sunil up front, when we start with a high press to make his job easier, especially to Sunil, what I'm saying. Now losing Jigson, we lost great part of the build-up phase stability and passing control. Losing Anwar, we lost enormous amount of stability in the build-up phase, because he was the one who was rising up the quality of the rest of the group at the back four with his football skill, with his technique, with his options, and fearless in receiving the ball under pressure and getting out of difficult positions. So when you see all these three players, you will see also that we lost great physical presence, losing three of them, because we lost the height in the team. And it's really difficult to replace such players and find a balance again, which we used to have throughout June and July when we won these tournaments and played really exciting and amazing football. It's not going to be easy, but that's the main reason why I say we should use this tournament to do our best, obviously, to try our best, to give everything and leave everything on the pitch, but to build up the process we are in. Not putting the boys under pressure upon results, just letting them enjoy the tournament to gain more experience, to feel such a huge tournament, and to focus on March games against Afghanistan and further on Kuwait and Qatar, which are really important to us, which can take us to the third round of the World Cup qualifiers and secure to India another 10 great games against top Asian teams.
Correct, coach. Correct. Coach, you said after the Qatar game that Asian Cup is something which you're looking as in preparation. I think some section of the people started saying that why it is the biggest continental stage and game tournament in of our Asian region. The reason what you said right now, I think if you give a clear answer to that point which you made there, and I think in the interview also over there you said it clearly that this is why you are looking this in India's preparation towards World Cup qualifiers. Because this, if India qualifies from this group, this will be the first time in our history that we will be going to the third round of any FIFA World Cup qualifiers, and that is something is a great achievement. So I think all the viewers can also understand that the implication of a playing, and correctly said that we will get the chance to play a top Asian footballing nations, which we don't get chance to play 10 games. That matters very very lot in that context. So coach, coming back to the tournaments which we were discussing, I think the triple success in 2023 Tri Nation tournament, Continental Cup, SAFF Cup, team was in a total high. And I think I was part. I went to the two of the tours there, and I met you also. And the brand of football which your team displayed that time, means in fact in the Kings Cup and Merdeka Cup also, I'll say the pass fluidness has also improved. Passing accuracy has improved of this team. So when you got this team in 2019, it was not the same, which you have developed in 4.5 years. So how hard it was? Because I asked you offline also once when we met in Bhubaneswar that how tough it was to make this adjustment of play and from direct football and from playing a brand of football, I think which is not so attractive. Give us game which is really attractive and which is giving us result also. So how you made it possible?
Yeah, listen, it was really difficult when the process started, and I was well aware about the things which might disturb us and not help us on our way. Because when you speak about football, most of the time people are impatient to recognize the things and to see the things which are following after the process and steps of the process. So the steps and the process was very clear to me, but I cannot explain to each supporter or follower what's going to happen because people are impatient, as I'm telling you. The first 2 years we spent in reconstructing the team, in finding the proper players which can follow what is needed for India to play football with fluidness, as you say, football with attractiveness, as you say, and with something which will attract people to football in India, because football culture in India was lost for many decades. And to rebuild such football culture, you need to play fantastic football. You need to play football with fluidity, with the high press, with excitement, with the many runs, with many passion, I would say. Also, when you mention my connection with the supporters, with the fans, which was never to be seen before there, that's something which I bring from my country, because all Croatian successes in football, in sport in general, are based on connection amongst the players and the supporters. Supporters are called the 12 player. And if they are not there for you, how are you going to win the games? It's much more difficult, believe me, especially for the teams which are low profile teams, not top teams. You need this kind of support to help you rise up in what you do. Now we have great belief, I would say, with the team which is quite young. We opened the door widely in 2019 to all these boys who were part of the 2017 World Cup. We supported them strongly, never mind the result. It was a suffering way, as I often mention, but we were well aware about how much gain we can get out of that. And now we are here. Obviously, we still need options. We do have quite a wide list of players now, but there are always certain situations, as you mentioned, Anwar, which is difficult to replace. Certain players are really difficult to replace on the pitch because you have only one Anwar Ali in India at the moment. We need 5, 6 of them, at least, in the near future to make sure that Indian football future is secure. And that's something which belongs to the clubs, to development programs, to competitions, to AIFF.
Coach, coming back to the triple tram which we had, the Tri-Nation tournament, Hero on Intercontinental Cup and the SAFF Cup, which one you rated higher in terms of the competition and the level of competition which you played? Which success you think you'll rate it higher? If you say give a chance about three, which one will you rate higher?
The most important one was the last one, the SAFF, and not only for the reason that it's a South Asian championship. We had some guests at the tournaments, Lebanon and Kuwait, which made the tournament the strongest ever. If we speak about history of the SAFF, but also because it was the last one in a row. And if you finish the phase, if you finish the cycle with the defeat or with the loss, nothing is the same. That reminded me of Croatia's World Cup in France. We had fantastic 6 games, and then after disappointment in losing in the semi-finals, there is still one game you need to play to win the medal. How to get up out of the disappointment and the defeat you had few days back, and to change the mindset, to stay positive, and to win the final game, which will give you the medal and give you the possibility to go back home as a winner, not as a loser. So that's why I say the SAFF was the most important one, because we finished in style, and something which I'm really proud of on players, on the staff and everyone there. Intensity of the football we played throughout 120 minutes in the last 2 games, in the semi-final of the SAFF and the final game against Kuwait, was amazing. And it proves you how important it is to understand why I'm requesting long camps for the national team, which we are able to provide because our season is short. We are able to provide it. So we need to ask ourselves, are we doing enough for the national team? It needs to be done more if we want our national team to rise up. It's really necessary, because if you look at the club structure and the club coaches, when you bring the new coach into the club, it takes him minimum 6 months to make players understand his philosophy and to produce kind of a football he expects them to do. And it's, more than 70% of the coaches are not successful in that process, because either there is no understanding from the players, or either the players are not at that level to provide that kind of football. That's why I'm so proud about our staff in India and everyone involved, because in such a short time given, we are successful in producing good football, quality football, and taking India forward with its ambition and fulfilling the goals.
Sure, sir. Sure. Sir, you mentioned about the performance in SAFF Cup, and we really played well. And in all the tournaments in India, when we played really well, people were very skeptical. They said that when we'll go to Kings Cup, when we'll go to Mardika Cup, we'll have issues while playing abroad. We have this habit of not playing well when we play away games. India has this habit before the record has been not so great. And come September, we played against Iraq, and I think I remember talking to one of the journalists in India, and he said that before that game, I asked him what would be the prediction. He said we'd be losing 3 to 4 goals. And I still remember the game which we played against Iraq. And don't you think, sir, we were hard done by refereeing? I think we should not say this. This is something which can happen, go your way or don't go your way. But don't you think Kings Cup and Mardika Cup in both the tournaments? I think the Iraq game, I somehow feel we were hard done by that.
This is why I hate such friendly games in the tournaments away, because they are great. They are great chance to those hosts to hurt you through the referees, through the friendships, through the things which are nothing to do with football and the quality of football you produce on the pitch. To everyone who watched the games and followed the games against Iraq, to everyone was clear that we were robbed in those games, But I look from other point of view, because we were at the 98th position in the FIFA rankings, and to get there, we spent 4.5 years of work. And then you go to such important tournament, and you play fantastic football. You deserve to win the game, and then some take that win from you, and you are done. Most of your work is destroyed. Players go down, they don't feel protected. The mindset change, mental fatigue, I would say desperate situation. to bounce back and do something 3 days later, it affects whole your job. That's why I was saying at certain point that I was ready to give away October and November FIFA windows to get 4 week camp prior to the AFC Asian Cup. Because I knew what's going to happen, believe me. Tournament in Malaysia also, it was obvious what was done there. Once again, we were robbed. That's why I insist on home games. Believe me, it's crucial, it's really important. India needs to invest more in home tournaments, home game, calling big teams. We don't mind the name of the teams here. But it's so different when you play home and away. When we speak about these tournaments which are not involved in, which are not biggest tournaments, but Hero Intercontinental Cup, SAFF, Merdeka Cup, Kings Cup, other things. We need to be very cautious, very careful where we're choosing to go, at what time. Especially if we don't get enough time to prepare our team, our boys, we cannot expect great things to happen.
Correct. Coach, one interesting part I would ask that India has you also already has said this, that India has this problem of scoring goals, and till now also we have to rely on Sunil Chhetri to bail us through. And if you see the current football structure, the clubs in India, there is not so much opportunity for the young Indian strikers in their clubs, respective clubs. I think recently Ishan Pandita, who has recently moved to Kerala Blasters, I heard that you played a very instrumental part in him moving to Kerala Blasters. So how are you guiding these young strikers in the team to take Sunil Bhai's place, because he has this place in Indian football, and it's very difficult for anybody anybody in India to replace him. And how this process you have started to get in new players, because what I understood about what Ishan said, that you had this role, you said to Ishan that Ishan should go to a club where you can get some game time. So that shows that you are looking into their career prospects also, which is quite nice, which is very kind of you. So how you are able to develop players in the striking position in place of Sunil, which is tough, which is very,
Yeah.
very tough.
Yeah. Listen, first of all, I'm there for my players at any point of their career to help them make proper decisions, which will help them save their careers at certain point or rise up in their football, making good decisions. It was same with Ishan, because I discussed with his coach, Kerala coach Ivan, everything, the possibilities. I wanted to hear his views, his opinion on Ishan, how he sees him, where he wants to use him, and everything. And then it was clear for me that Ivan is someone Ishan can rely on. He will be backed up by the coach. He will be given enough time. Obviously, Ishan was not lucky with the injuries. He's not been there for several months because of the injury, but he will be backed up. It's really important for him to gain the time on the pitch on his natural position. When you look now at Manvir, which we developed through the national team, supporting him as a center forward, which helped him to be recognized in Indian football in the proper way, which helped him to be signed by the biggest club in India, so national team helped him to gain the authority in Indian football and to become one of the best goal scorers in India. And now, but he's playing as a right winger. How is that helping Indian team? For Manvir, it's really difficult now to switch on from right wing to center forward position. Really difficult, and we understand that. That's something which needs to somehow change. We need to find a way to change that if we want to see players replacing Sunil soon and scoring goals for India. Obviously, Sunil is not on his own there to score goals. Someone needs to do the build-up. Someone needs to bring that ball on the wings, on the flank. Someone needs to put these crosses for him. The team is doing the job for him to score, and we need to appreciate more. People often speak about Sunil because he deserves it. He is the goal scorer. All the fame goes to them. No? But the rest of the work, 99% of the work is done by other players. And you don't forget, when Sunil was not there, we were getting results and scoring goals. So the way of the play and the style will bring you the goals. The quality of the game will bring you the goals. Obviously, the goal scoring stats and datas will be better if we get Indian players playing as strikers in the league and scoring goals. It's simple as that. it's not national team who can have a magic sword and change things there. The clubs need to do the job for us, you know. So that's why I was mentioning at certain point that having in mind that India is still the only country in the world not using players of its origin to represent the country, at least we need to consider that we have to give opportunity to our team to use the players on these crucial positions which are occupied by the foreign players in the league. At least on these positions. I'm not saying other positions, but we are allowing in our country foreign players to occupy the most important positions in the team. Then someone should allow us to replace, to fulfill these positions with the players of Indian origin which are developed abroad and which are there with a great wish to represent the country. You know, so that would be enormous help to us.
So coach, coming to the PIO players which you currently mentioned, and those say players, are you in contact with any of the players who you can? I don't want the names, but I think are you in contact with any of the players to get them wear Indian jersey anytime soon?
I mean, I'm in contact with many players.
Okay.
Need to tell you, yeah, and they are
Oh,
there and asking regularly what's happening, and I'm telling them, you know, we are in the process, you know, we are doing our best. So they need to be patient. Hopefully soon. How soon, I don't know, but I hope our president Kalyan is, and he mentioned the other day, you know, that that's one of his priorities now to allow and to help the law to change and accept this to help Indian team to rise.
sure, coach. Coach, we had a FIFA qualifiers just a month back, and first two games were the most toughest games. If you ask me, I think we played against Qatar home and Kuwait away. First game was I think the most crucial game for us, and after many years we won our away game against a good opposition like Qatar. If you should not go with Qatar by the rankings because we all know what Qatar did to us in 2009. They thrashed us 10-1. And I remember that day, and
Was it
I
9-1
was
or 9-1? I think,
9-1,
yeah.
9-1,
9-1,
9-1.
yeah.
Golu Bangi, one of my friends
Yeah.
was part of the
And that
team, and
was
he
not
said
long ago, huh? That was not
not
long
long,
ago.
just 10 years back. So 10, 12 years back. So coach, the game against Kuwait, unwarily not playing, Rahul became playing in an unusual position, and that was a master stroke for many who watched that game late night in India.
Yeah.
So how whose plan was it? You thought it for a long time, then it happened, or it was something which you had it for it happened suddenly, and you thought Rahul Beke would
No,
play in that position?
I obviously have a core base of players which is always there on the list, and most of the time before even starting the camp, I would say 7, 8 at least players which will start the game. That's based on performance quality for the clubs, you know, which I follow on a regular basis. But the rest of it is done through the training drills which we have inside the camp, you know. And then I need to monitor really carefully the body language, confidence they spread through the sessions, you know, commitment and focus they are showing, which is defining the final decision. Because a regular follower, he can only remember what's been done in the past and what's been done with the players in the clubs, but that cannot define who will start the game for the national team. You know, the decision is made at the very final moment together with my staff, when we discuss all the options, when we discuss the balance needed in the team to face certain opponent, which is always varying from point to point, you know, depending on the opponent you face. Either you need more physical side, either you need more speed in the team, either you need more technical quality, whatever is there, you know, we need to have the balance to match the oppositions. And these decisions are really difficult, you know, but we need to recognize the players who will do the job for the national team. Raul Beke was the player who we always were able to rely on. You know, I gave him some time to settle down, to recover from few mistakes which are part of the game always, you know. But we are not the team who can get rid of the players, you know, for one or two mistakes. We need to have faith in these boys. That's why these boys are producing results for the country, because we are backing them up. We are doing everything to make them feel safe, not to have any fear of making mistakes, because Making mistakes is the only way of going forward. Believe me, and I learned that throughout my career as a player and as a coach. There is no other way. So I know that the supporters are desperate many times, and when they see someone not in great form or expected form, they will just get rid of him and all that. I see many people were very critical about, I would say, Rahim Ali at the moment, Rohit Kumar, a few others. These are the boys we have. We don't have others. And these boys spent with us several years in the process. So because if they are at a certain point not producing what is expected, we're not going to get rid of them. We're going to keep believing in them and providing to them so they can provide for the country.
So, coach, before the World Cup qualifiers, right now we have played 2 games now, and we have 3 points. And come March, we are again playing in India, and I think this tenure after the Asian Cup will be very important for Indian team. If we want to qualify for the third run, I think we should after that a crucial victory against Kuwait away. But as you said, we should be very careful in approaching every games, because if you see Afghanistan also, of late they have the issues with the federation and the players there. But who knows
Yeah, I
that
think
things may
that
change.
issue will disappear before our games, believe me.
Yes, yes.
They played against Kuwait now. 17 of their players were not there for the national team.
Sure.
But believe me that in March, before India, 2 games, full squad will be there. I know what I'm
Sure,
saying.
coach. Okay, I know,
Yeah.
and we believe
Okay.
you. Coach, as your contract got extended, any long-term plan you have for Indian football? You said that going to the third round, and till 2026, what I know that your contract has been extended, and any long-term plans for Indian football? You want to do something for the grassroots level, because you manage a senior national team. Any plans for the age group teams like under 17, under 20, under 23 teams for the long run to develop players from there to the main national team?
No, I cannot go so far back. I can help there in under 21 and under 19, which are the age groups well connected to the senior national team, which are age groups which can enter the senior national team immediately, which are there already on our list. Many of these players. But we need to implement the same philosophy in those age groups. We need to have a strong connection within the coaches who will be there. That's the main reason why I insisted on Mahesh Gavli to take over under 23. So he will have my full support and help there with all the stuff from the national team. But also the federation needs to do the steps, to reorganize everything about the competitions for these underage group teams and to make sure they get enough games, enough exposure so they can gain experience for what's awaiting them in the future.
Sure. Coach, we have discussed a lot of things about the Indian national team and everything and the setup of national team under your tenure. So the Indian Super League, which is in its 10th year right now, 10th year which is going on right now. Any players in the 10th season has caught your attention, and you think in near future you can give them a call up, like people have already saying, I can take few names, Parthiv Gogoi, then Jai Gupta. There are few players, other players also in the list. So you also said in an interview that we need to give some time before we come to a conclusion to their inclusion. I think that's somewhat justified. So are you looking into them, and for in future they can have a look?
Not only them, we are looking at every player with Indian passport. Not only them, because if you mention Parthiv Gogoi, Jay Gupta, now, yes, they are the boys which got our attention. I would say that. And they are on the list of 50 at the moment. But to say that they can compete at this moment strongly for the spot of 23, it's not possible, because competition to them are the boys who performed continuously for last 4 years with the good performances in the league and within the national team. The boys who understand the process, the philosophy which is here, and you cannot add extra new players just prior to the big tournament like Asian Cup. These boys will probably get the chance in the near future, but they need to keep playing well. They need to show that they can do well continuously in ISL, which again, it's not confirmation on their quality for the international stage. It's a huge question mark there, because pace of the game in ISL, it's much lower than at the international level.
Sure.
And whoever is looking so good and brilliant at certain point of his game inside ISL, that doesn't mean he can repeat that at the international level. So
With
we need to be very cautious, very patient. We need to always remind our followers and supporters, just don't choose the players for the coach. He knows his job. He will do it. Just have trust, have a faith in him. Because you support one club and then there is a player who made magnificent goal or action, you start pushing him to the national team. That's not nice, really. You have me for the job. Just trust me. Let me do my job. I don't have favorites amongst the players. I need to do the best job for India, and that's what I do for the last 5 years.
So we totally believe that, and we know it also that you have this in you to say things up front. So one important thing I want to say, it's a very candid question I wanted to ask you. And last time when we met, I think we didn't have that so much time to ask you this question. So we can add this question. So if you see the ISL league, you interact with all the coaches in the ISL, the team they are managing. So I think it's very. I think I may be asking you this question, and I think I just want to ask you the simple thing that which coach in ISL right now you think can take your place in your future if you tend to go to any other country.
But I already mentioned that it's not a news. It's not exclusive. I have a great relation with all the managers. I have a communication with all of them occasionally when it's needed, when we need to exchange the data and everything about the players, when there are injuries and everything. We are communicating well. But the guys who are there for most of the years are Manolo and Ivan, and those guys, with the way they with the approach they have within the clubs, with the work they provide, they are the guys who are helping Indian football most, the national team. That's why I rate their work so high, because they are not selfish, they are not afraid to risk, they are confident about providing opportunities to young players, backing them up, helping Indian football to rise up, not relying only on foreign players and recruits. And that's something important for Indian football, because when you choose the player, then you need to choose the player based on their profile and what is needed for your team and for your club to rise up also. But not only that, profile of the coaches, which will help your national team, because the club existence, the fundamental point of club existence is the national team success. There is no other, So these coaches I rate really, really high. Sergio Lobera, I'm really happy that he's back and doing again wonderful job with Orisha, which is again prove how much government is important and government influence and support of football is important in sport, So Orisha will just keep rising up with such philosophy and support provided by the government, and now having great coach and good squad. I would love to see East Bengal rising up and stabilizing the team and getting better performances and the results inside ISL, because it's a massive club for Indian football. They need to be top 4 all the time there. So they need to stabilize themselves. And it's good to see now that Goa is back with Manolo there. Not worried about Kerala. Ivan is doing miracles there with them. So it's really good to see them. I would love to see Jamshedpur doing much better, stabilizing the results and the performances, because they are well-structured club. They are the club which is really strong and there for Indian football, with their academy, with their competitiveness, but they need better results in ISL also. Mumbai is already part of the biggest football organization in the world, so they will just keep rising up. They know what they do.
Coach, I think Igor Štimac as a player and coach have achieved many things. I think you as a coach, you've coached Croatian national team to Indian national team right now. You played in the topmost league possible, and you played at the toppest level, and you come to India. Tell us something about your journey in India in 4.5 years. It's been a long time now. It's a long time now. When you came in 2019, I understand in between 2 years there was COVID-19 happening, so not much time you got there. So how you adjust to the Indian culture, Indian food, and tell us about which is your favorite Indian food on a lighter note. We want to know, understand that also.
Yeah. Listen, Indian food is mostly spicy food, and I'm not allowed to have spicy food. But I need to tell you, whenever I had the chance and I was invited by some friends to visit Indian restaurants, I enjoyed it. Even I suffered later, but I enjoyed it eating dosa, chicken biryani, you know, naan. I love naan.
Oh, you love it.
I love it. So I allow myself sometimes to enjoy it.
Coach, overall journey in India we have discussed. We'll have some short rapid fire and we'll just wrap up after that. And just, so, Coach, your favorite all-time player,
My favorite all-time player is Diego Maradona, definitely.
favorite Croatian player, favorite
Croatian player Luka Modric, by far.
Mbappe or Haaland, whom do you rate?
Haaland, different profile of players. Haaland is striker, Mbappe is more of a winger.
Okay.
Both are amazing, young. They will somehow be what Messi and Ronaldo used to do for a football world. Haaland and Mbappe should be replacing Messi and Ronaldo in a way of importance inside the football family.
So, Ronaldo or Messi, Lionel Messi, whom do you rate higher?
Nah, that's question which is eliminating one of them is not good thing to do. They are so unique, both of them. I love Messi because of he's unique, so talented, and it's so amazing to be part of the time when he played football, to enjoy his game, to enjoy his skills, his dribbles, his goals, his assistances. But on the other hand, Ronaldo is a pure role model for all the kids in the world. He is a clear proof what can be done with the amount of work you put into something you love. And it's wonderful to have them both. And I would never go so far to pick one and leave one out. It's both.
Sure. Both. So, your favorite Indian football player?
But it's interesting thing there, I will tell you.
Hmm.
When we speak amongst us coaches, when you speak, when you hear supporters speak, most of them will choose Messi. Yeah, I have no doubt about that. Amongst coaches is different. Most of the coaches, if you ask them who would you pick for your team, most of them will pick Ronaldo.
Correct.
So you should ask yourself, why is that?
Correct. Because coach understands football better than us, which I always believe, because coach have this understanding of the game much better than us as a viewer. So, favorite Indian football player, coach?
I would say Sahal is the one, and Anwar Ali is just next to him. They are young still. They are good age. They are two players who could somehow be most important players for Indian football future. I don't mention here Sunil because he's done. He's done everything for Indian football which was possible, and whatever he is doing in the last 4 years with us, it's amazing. I was looking at his numbers the other day, and actually he is playing his best years for the national team since we are here. Because his goal scoring records are showing that he's playing best football of his career, and that's really amazing. He's so important for Indian football, and I hope that he will last few more years. He can. It's only question of how much hunger will be left inside him. How longer he can find the motivation for playing and getting up in the morning and having difficult training sessions to maintain the fitness level, which is amazing. And now there is a baby, it's time to enjoy more time with the family, less travels and all that. But whatever happens, I would love to see him deeply involved in Indian football and occupying one of the most important positions in Indian football. That's his destiny, obviously.
Coach, I remember it's very difficult to live his life because he lives a very stringent life, and how he takes care of himself is very, very, very tough. And we had a funny conversation in Bhubaneswar also, when I said him, then he said me, there is no hope if you don't follow your food structure properly. So, our channel's name is Indian Food and Football. So, you have already said which is your favorite Indian food. Coach, favorite Indian food? Don't say me chicken tandoori because this is something which I've been hearing from people like chicken tandoori.
I would say biryani, chicken biryani.
Biryani
Yeah.
is a favorite. Okay, okay. So, we, coach, thank you so much for your time, and I think it was lovely interacting with you. And so I was so happy today when yesterday when we planned this, and today it happened, and it was a dream come true moment for me because see, I've been following Indian football for last 10 15 years to be precise, and under your coaching I've seen India rise, and it is lovely always interacting with you when I met you personally also, and now in the podcast also. It was lovely interacting with you. Thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. Giving us 1 hour time from your busy schedule also is very, very
Yeah.
tough. Thank you for that. And coach, all the best for Asian Cup. May Indian national team roses to that occasion and comes to the, I think, plays their best game against Australia, Uzbek, and Syria. And who knows, we may cause some desired upset, as you said that. I will be waiting for the Australian game, and I think that upset, if it happens, I think we'll have a call after that in the night. So thank you,
God knows,
coach.
God knows what will happen, But the one thing is sure, we're gonna leave everything on that pitch. It's a short time, 8, 9 working days prior to such a big tournament is not even close enough to what is needed to do well. But we're gonna try. We're gonna go there, try to enjoy our football as much as possible. We're not gonna sit back. I'm gonna tell you that. We're not gonna sit back and wait on opponents to kill us. We're gonna go there. We're gonna try to play football. We're gonna try to enjoy our game and hold them back, definitely. So God help us, and I'm really happy that I'm part of this era of Indian football. I don't know how long it's going to last. I hope that we're gonna finish this second phase together, which I have plans to do with India and to bring India into top 80 in the world, and hopefully making sure that we play third round of World Cup qualifiers next year.
Thank you, coach. On a positive note, I think we also agree with you, and we are with you, and we'll support this team, ifs and bounds, whatever may be the results. We are with the team, and I hope that there's a saying that fortune favors the brave. I think what does the fortune which you said, I think it will always be with you because the brave person you are. So thank you for your time again, and I think all the viewers, it was nice interacting with Mr. Igor Štimac. Do watch our podcast and do subscribe to Indian Food and Football and SportsKhabri for the latest updates. Thank you.
Thank you very much.